Here's a quick video on how to use the first part of gruepr, which is SurveyMaker. Let's open up gruepr. And the first thing we see is this menu of options, things we want to run. If you haven't yet registered the software, there'll be a fourth button within this window which asks you to register the software, and I encourage you to please do so. The information just goes to me and helps me know how many people are using gruepr and where they're located. Okay, the first step in using gruepr is to create a survey so that you can collect information from your students, and then the second part of gruepr is to use that information, informing them, putting your students onto the best teams. So this video we will look at SurveyMaker, so we'll click the button to open it up. Here's the SurveyMaker window. You can see there's two sides. The first side on the left here is where we set all of the different options and questions that we want to use in our survey. And then on the right side here is simply a view-only preview of what the survey is going to look like. You can see it lists all of the questions we've chosen broken off into different sections. Some of the questions are free response, such as asking about our student's first name, and some of the questions are multiple choice, where students can select only one of the options, and that's indicated, such as with the gender question here, listing all the different options that are available for students to choose. Okay, let's set some of the options. So over here, first thing, maybe we'll create a survey title. We'll call it Capstone Survey. Okay, next, all of these checkboxes enable or disable specific questions in the survey. The first three questions are required. gruepr requires that the survey include first or preferred name, last name, and email address as the first three questions. Next, if you want to collect gender information, then you can include this checkbox. The phrasing of the question can't be changed. So it's simply a yes or no option for gender. If you want to ask about race, ethnicity, cultural heritage, you can ask for that as well. This is a free response question, so students can self-identify however they choose to self-identify their race, ethnicity, cultural heritage. Okay, attributes, you can have as few as 0 attribute questions or as many as 15. So you can change the number of attributes using the number selection box here. And then each attribute question, we can type in the text of the question that we like, as well as which response options we want. Attributes can be, these questions can be any question that has a Likert scale or numerical scale or any sort of categorical response. So maybe for this demonstration, we'll have just 2 attribute questions. The first one will be maybe how much experience do you have with programming. Let's do that for our demonstration. Okay, so we type the text of the question here, anything that we want to ask our students. There's a lot of freedom that you have in these attribute questions, so type whatever you like here. And then there are a number of built-in response options. So this question is about how much experience that you have. So I think if we scroll down, there's one here that has a lot of experience, some experience, little experience, no experience. So we'll choose that for the possible responses for students to choose. Let's make this window a little bit bigger. Okay. Our next attribute, so this scroll bar here allows us to move between the different attribute questions. The next one, maybe we want to ask, what is your major? Okay, I don't have a built-in response option for what's your major. So for this, we'll scroll down and we'll select custom options because as you'll see, after we create the survey, we'll be able to enter in the specific options we want to allow students to choose for their major. Next, if you want to ask a question about their schedule, you can choose to include that question. The options here are you can phrase the question such that it asks either when students are busy, so they mark off when they cannot do group work, or you can have it ask when students are free, so people will check when they are able to meet. And maybe I'll choose that. Next, you can select which days you want to ask students about in their schedule. This drop-down box just allows you to quickly select only weekdays or only weekends. or you can use these selection boxes here to turn them individually on and off. If you want to change the names of the days, then you can change those here. Maybe I'll leave it at weekdays, and here this is the times that you want to ask about. So maybe I'll ask between noon and 6 p.m. So if we look at our preview, it'll ask students about their weekly schedule, asking when they're free and available for group work, and there'll be a grid of check boxes for students to select Monday to Friday, noon to 6 p.m. Next, if you are asking multiple sections of the class, if you're giving them the same survey, then you can ask which section they're in. So this will add a question about which section you're enrolled, and maybe we have section 1, section 2, and section 3. So the options that students can choose are 1, 2, 3. And then lastly, if you want to ask any additional questions, which won't be used by gruepr, but you just want to collect within the same survey for your own use, then you can add a little placeholder here, and you'll see that we can edit the survey once it's completed, and either add additional questions or just replace this question with whatever you choose to add. Again, these questions can be about absolutely anything. They are going to get ignored by gruepr in the end. Okay, once we have the survey exactly how we like, we have some options about what we can do. Under the File menu, you can save the survey just to a file, and then if other maybe colleagues want to use this survey, you can give them the file and they can open up the file that you send them, and all of the things that you just chose, including the question texts and all of the options will be loaded into those survey options. Or if you want to reuse the same survey from semester to semester, then you can save as a file and open it later and have the same survey again. Okay, once you're ready to actually create the survey so that students can respond to it, currently with this version of gruepr, we have two options. Either you can save as text files. This might be useful if you are going to create the survey within your learning management system or SurveyMonkey or another one of those platforms. Or most people maybe want to just create the survey as a Google form. That's sort of the system that's currently built into gruepr. So let's create the survey as a Google form. All right, once we've chosen which option we want to do, we can click the Create Survey button. A window pops up which gives you a few reminders about the steps that you're about to see in this video. So I'll click OK because I'm ready. And the first thing, your browser will open up. If you are not logged into Google, then the first thing you'll have to do is log into your Google account. So we'll use this account and we will log in. And next, if you've never used gruepr before, if you've never used the SurveyMaker with Google before, then the next thing is Google is going to ask you to give permission to gruepr. And this is done just so that you can use gruepr to create the form in your Google Drive and also create a spreadsheet file to store all of the responses. So we will allow gruepr permission for that. And now this will take about 10 to 20 seconds as the form and the spreadsheet file get created in your Google Drive. No data gets sent to or stored by gruepr. All of this exists simply on your Google Drive. So no concerns about privacy there. Okay, once the survey has been created, there'll be another window here in your browser with more information. Okay, sometimes there'll be a note that the survey needs to be edited, so pay attention to that. The specific things that need to be edited before you can use your survey will be listed here. So for example, it says we've added 2 attribute questions, but one of them had blank multiple choice response options. That was the academic major question where I said I wanted to add custom options. So this is reminding us that we do need to add in those custom options. And next, we had that placeholder question at the end of the form. So this is telling us that we added the placeholder question. So, so maybe we want to add our own questions in there. All right, there are some other things you can do, some optional edits to the survey. Just do keep in mind that other than what's listed here, you really should not delete or reword or reorder any of the other questions, as doing so might break gruepr's ability to read the survey results once all the students have submitted their information. So just be mindful that you only edit as described here. All right, next here in the bottom, it tells you what's happened. It's created the Google Forms survey in my Google Drive. It's created a Google Sheets spreadsheet to hold the responses. And we've got some quick links here that you might want to copy and paste or right-click and bookmarks that you have access to them later. This is a direct link to edit the survey for you. This is a direct link for students to fill out the survey, and it's been shortened using the tiny URL service. And then lastly, here's a direct link. Once all the students have submitted their survey responses, you can simply go to this URL, and the results file is immediately downloaded. Okay, so we do need to do a couple of edits, so let's go ahead and do that. If we click on this direct link to edit the survey, we see the survey that was created. There's our title, capstone survey. These are all the questions that we asked for. Here's this question, what is your major, where we wanted custom options. So I'll add, maybe there are some students that majored in chemistry and English and business. Whatever you choose, you can have as many options as you like. So there, we've now taken care of that. And now at the bottom, we have this placeholder question. Again, anything you place after here is going to get ignored by gruepr, so we can have whatever questions we want. Maybe we'll ask a question. We'll let students, for your response, what topic are you most excited to learn? Okay, so all of these extra questions that you want just for your own use, you can put here at the end. All right, this is done. All changes are saved in Drive, so this form is ready to go, and we can now send this link out to our students so they can fill out the survey. Okay, once all the students have filled out their information, again, we might want to bookmark this link so that we can download the results and load it into gruepr. That'll be shown in our next video.